Hello and welcome to Hearts Standard pre-match preview from Tynecastle Park for the Edinburgh Derby, Hearts against Hibs. The team news is in. I forgot to put it on the ticker down here, but I can present it because I had saved it as a PDF if I can find it. And there's 3 changes from the lineup which played against Ross County. Alex Lowry's in, Cammy Devlin is in, and Alan Forrest is in. It means that Odell Afaya, Aidan Denham and George Grant drop to the bench. We think it's going to be a 4-2-3-1. I would imagine with Lowry playing wide and maybe Vargas through the middle with Shankland. And we've got it here as Vargas and behind Shankland, but it could easily flip the other way. Alternatively, it could be 3. It could be the same formation as against County, but with Alex Lowry playing in the middle, as you predicted yesterday, James. So, what are your initial feelings?
I think it's a pretty strong 11. I mean, as I was saying to you just before we came on, I think this is the first time that either has got a predicted 11 right, and I honestly get the 11 right, but again, we don't really know about the formation. I thought it would be a back 3, with Forrest at wing back and Kings on the other side, Neuenhoff sitting deep, and then having Devlin and Lowry either side. We might see that, I don't know, but again, like we touched on in some of the stuff earlier in the week, the players that are playing, as we can see, they can play in different positions and different roles in different systems. So they might well start as in the 4-2-3-1, then switch to the back 3 if they can go ahead and try and calm the game down for a bit. But I think when you look at the starting 11, there's not too many surprises in there. I think we all expected Alan Forrest to come in for Offia on the right. I think we all knew that Cammy Devlin was of course going to come back in. I guess Lowry's probably the only one that maybe there's maybe some debate over. Obviously, George Grant's been in good form. Liam Boyce is obviously not in the team either. But I think Lowry, after that goal at Rugby Park, after coming on and getting the assist at County, there's not much more he could have done if he wanted to get into the team. And I think it's a deserved opportunity for him. So it'll be really interesting to see how he gets on because, we know that last few times he started, he struggled to make an impact, particularly when he's played in that central area. Yep. So if he is playing in that number 10 role today, he'll need to do a lot better than he has done previously.
Yeah, that was my biggest fear for Alex Lowry playing in the Derby, is that because it's going to be such kind of hear him, scare him in the midfield, that it could be easy for a player of his talent, his qualities, to be lost in the midfield. Steven Naismith was asked about his performances and if he'd done enough to get a starting position. He talked about what he said was it didn't give me the inkling that he was going to start. It still suggested that there was work to be done. He said Alex is somebody we brought in because we think he can contribute. On the flip side, he is very young. His game time at first team level has not been a lot, and he's got a good relationship with Alex Lowry, and it's more about the out of possession stuff that he's over concerned and sometimes decision making, because he brought up a point from the Kilmarnock game. Alex Lowry came on and scored the winner, but he said that one of the first things he did was try nutmegs an opponent at the halfway line, and then the ball was lost and it could easily ended up with a Kilmarnock goal. And so he's still trying to get not to do those things, but do those things in the right context, the right situation. So it's a big call. I mean, it's a big call, but it's also a big almost a big well done for the contributions that Alex Lowry has made. And I think this will be a really big match for him. And it's obviously Edinburgh Derby it's absolutely massive, but for how he can deal with the other side of the game, because if there's spaces come up, if the game opens up, he can create something. He's a player that Hibs don't have in their team. Hearts have Lowry and have Barry Mackay when he's fit, but it's about that off the ball, when it gets physical, when it gets 100 mile an hour, how well he can deal with it, and that's the biggest. I think that's the biggest part of the game for Lowry.
No, absolutely. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. It's the fact that in possession, Hearts will likely have an extra man in midfield. Hibs are playing a flat 4 in the middle, so having someone who can, having that 3 in the midfield, having someone play a bit more advanced, you hope they're going to get on the ball, find those little gaps, and like you did against Kilmarnock, exploit them. But you're right, the big question over Lowry is, you look at him, he's not a particularly big, strong guy. He's not the sort who's going to be lunging into tackles, flinging heavy tackles, and flinging his weight around. And let's be honest, a lot of the time, that could be a big part of the Edinburgh Derby, who ends up going home with the 3 points. Yeah. So you're right. I think it will be really interesting to see, because if he can do the off the ball stuff in a game like this, he can do it in basically any of them, I think. So like you said, this is a big test for him. It'll be interesting to see how he gets on.
But it's a much more attacking lineup than we saw at Ross County last week. You've essentially got 3 more attack-minded players coming in for players who, like George Grant is attack-minded, but you've got Denham, who didn't really suit to the role last week. You have Afaya, who looked uncomfortable as a right wing back. If Forrest was to play as a right wing back, if they did play a back 3, he's much more forward thinking.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like we saw obviously the Hibs team that Lewis Stevenson's on the bench today. If Jordan Obita starting, he's got a bit more pace about him, obviously, than Stevenson's about 33, 34. So again, Forrest will be needing to stretch the play. So Vargas as well on the other side. But again, I think the inclusion of Lowry as a sort of natural playmaker, that says to me that Hearts will be planning on having most of the ball this afternoon, which is obviously something we spoke about in the build-up. Is at Hibs in their last 4 games, they've had the majority of the ball in their matches, and they don't strike me as the kind of team that are going to want to sit and just play on the break and on the counter. So I think it's a bit of a statement of intent there from Naismith straight from the get-go, saying, no, we're going to get ball-playing players on the park. What we do in possession is more important than what we do out of it. And again, that's got to give you a bit of encouragement, I think, because it says that the team are looking to seize the initiative, which is obviously what you want in the derby. I mean,
that was a big message from him yesterday, was in possession, Hearts don't compromise. Hearts play the way he wants them to play. And, I mean, lots of managers have said that, and the proof is in the 90 minutes happen on the pitch, whether Hearts do continue that attack still. But the lineups certainly suggest that they want to get control of the ball. They want to dominate the ball. In a way, that may suit Hibs because of the pace that they have on the counter-attack. But this season so far, Hibs have not been tested going the other way. Can they defend for long spells of periods of time? And they've made a couple of big calls. They've dropped Lewis Stevenson and Paul Hanlon, 2 experienced members of the Hibs lineup. They brought in Rocky Bushiri and Jordan Obita. Now, it may be a case that McGoverney's looked at Hanlon's and Stevenson's derby record and thought, maybe we'll try something different. But it's a big call on that side that they've obviously got a wee bit more attack-minded as well. Because I wrote about it in the week that I think the big call for Hibs, whether they're going to sit in and defend and then look to counter or to attack, is the decision between Obita and Stevenson.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think another one of the selection calls that's caught my eye is Christian Doige starting up front. Obviously, we know that he's not a pretty prolific goal scorer. He's a big unit that likes to throw himself around. And I wonder if, that's done with someone like Rose in mind, who we have seen on occasion this season where he's struggled against a big physical striker. It's happened a couple of times, but I wonder if that's the thinking there between Doige. So that'll be a fascinating individual battle as well.
And yeah, they'll definitely, I thought they would play Doige because it gives him an option to go long. So Hearts will look to press Hibs up the park, and Hibs have had difficulties so far this season dealing with that press, and then it gives him an option just to kind of bypass it and hit Doige straight away. Doige is obviously, he'll probably look to play around Rose.
You would think, yeah. And as we spoken about before, as we mentioned on the site before, Rose, those physical one-on-one contests, but also in the air sometimes he's a bit suspect. He's not as dominant as someone like Ryan Kent.
Well, 44%, 44% success rate in the air is. I mean, it's a small sample size this season, 7 games in, but no matter how you look at it for a centre back, it needs to be a lot better.
Yeah, that's very poor for any centre half at any level. As a centre half, you should be winning your headers. That's kind of 101, and that's your bread and butter. So yeah, I do think that, like you say, playing Doige does give them that option to go long. And also you've got the pace of you and Boyle who can then run it behind, flick on from Doige. And it does give them that extra option if they do want to get back to front as fast as possible. So again, it's got to be something that Hibs have got to be aware of. I think that they're going to have to get help out in the midfield as well. You're going to have to see the likes of Neuenhoff and perhaps Devlin dropping a bit deeper, helping them out.
Both that's the big thing. Both Devlin and Neuenhoff, I like that balance because both are mobile, both can get around the pitch. But Devlin, they should be able to complement each other in terms of their movement. Devlin will want to hunt, chase down and harry, and then Neuenhoff was really impressed against Ross County. His ability to cover and drop in and make defensive interceptions. So I think that's a nice balance. Looking at the game as a whole, there's been chat about issue with VAR. We've looked across at VAR, and there was a guy on the phone, which still trying to find out a wee bit more. But in terms of the conditions are great for a game of football. There's been a lot of talk about the rain, a lot of games called off, but Tynecastle Park looks brilliant for a derby match. It's going to be a lot of sliding around, I hope.
Oh, exactly, yeah, that's the thing. Like we've got to see the pictures looking great. You know, it doesn't look like there's any problems with that at all. But yeah, like I say, it will be that slide there. You know, people will be maybe lose their balance a bit more. It'll be a little bit more chaotic. But that's what derby's all about. And that's particularly what the Edinburgh derby's all about. So again, that's where you want to see something like Cammy Devlin to really come to the fore. I think where it's people just struggling to get the ball under control. People, the ball bouncing about.
He thrives on that. He thrives on that.
That's where he's at his best. I think. You know, so I think that. It's certainly going to be a fun encounter. I would expect probably quite a few bookings as well this afternoon.
I just want to flash up a couple of comments we got on Facebook. So we've got Stephen McKinley said, interesting lineup. Never is the same team each week, which is true. No Grant or Boyce both been great off late. One thing I would say about that, you've got options on the bench. George Grant and Liam Boyce to come on. You can bring George Grant in midfield to change things. You can bring Liam Boyce into various different attacking positions as well.
Yeah, and then there's also, of course, Yusuke Tagawa, who's back in the Man City squad as well, back on the bench.
Of course, yeah.
So again, just gives. I would expect Shanklin to play the 90 minutes.
Yep.
I think it'd be a bit of a surprise unless they're having to change the shape, maybe go 2 up top. And I think Tagawa, from what we've seen of him, seems to be more of a natural centre forward than perhaps something like Boyce. You know, more of an out striker at the tip of the spear kind of guy. So I think that while it's unlikely to get minutes, it does just give Naismith that option where if he does need to change the shape, there are guys that can come on and do that. So yeah, like I say, yeah, Grant as well, of course, Boyce. Looking a wee bit further back, even guys like Offia.
I think as well when
Many, of course,
when the game maybe settles down, you need someone to come on and control it.
Yeah, exactly. If you can get yourself ahead, and then you want to just start really controlling the ball in midfield, then it's exactly who you want. We saw against St Mirren that he's very press resistant. That's what he's good at. And in a game like this, where you're going to get pressed quite aggressively, quite high up the park. It's always really good to have something like that. We can keep their composure and move the ball right, evade that press, and just bring that extra degree of calm and what's sure to be a frenetic afternoon.
And finally, before we get drowned out by the Hearts announcer, I just wanted to flash up Ross Parker makes a good point. We'd like to see Lowry take on a player and get a shot away. That's one big thing. Lowry's the only player in the Hearts lineup who really will carry the ball, will dribble it, will kind of replicate what's missing from Barry Mackay.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I guess there's potential for Forrest and Vargas to do that out in the wings, but like you say, I think Lowry's got that little shift of balance, that way he can just quickly change direction, lose his marker, got that little bit of space, and he can drive into or play around. So, yeah, I think that's a very good point from Ross. Yeah, Lowry's definitely one of those players who needs to be very direct. Some things that's exactly what you need, particularly in this Hearts team where we've seen a lot of things this season. It's been a bit branding on the ball, it's been a bit of possession's sake, and sometimes you need that someone to come on and just want to really drive the ball, drive the opposition and penetrate the defence, and that's what Lowry can be really good at, I think.
Yeah, we may as well finish here before we get drowned out more by the by the Hearts announcer who was speaking to a mascot. He gave a prediction. James, what's your prediction?
I will go for 2-0 to the Hearts.
The Hearts, okay?
Yep.
I still refuse to make predictions, so we'll move on from there. I think it'll be a very entertaining game. I'm going to say 3-2 to Hearts, and we'll be back after full time. We'll have reaction from Steven Naismith. We'll have instant analysis on the game, and be sure to check everything out on heartstandard.co.uk, and hopefully have a very, very, very enjoyable afternoon.